Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Man's No Bull Beer Reviews. Today I have a beer from OddSide Ales, which I have not reviewed anything from these guys on this channel yet. So this beer, I only had it one time and I thought it was great, so I was excited to be able to get a 4-pack of it. Hear that in the background, that's just my beer racking that I brewed today. So I got this, I had this, about 4 years ago now. Damn, that's so long ago. I've been doing this for too long, but the Broncos Seahawks Super Bowl, I cracked this open. I have crazy beer memory, but yeah, so that's the last time I had this. But I've had a lot of OddSide since then. They do good stuff, and I'm excited to drink it again and share my thoughts on it on this review. Sorry, just getting the excess water out of there. Let's see what we got. So, as you can see, it's pretty dark brown, close to black. It poured like a dark cola color. It has a pretty dark head, actually. I'd say it's darker than the average Imperial Stout. It's tan, close to what I would call a straight brown color. Sorry, I took a whiff without saying I was going to. So the aroma is big chocolate notes. There's not much bourbon or coffee, which has me a little worried, to be honest. Just because it's a barrel aged. Sorry, I didn't say that before. I didn't even say what this beer was. It's a Morningwood Stout. It's a bourbon barrel aged Imperial coffee stout. So you would think in for that beer that one of the biggest aromas would be bourbon and coffee. So I'm getting more of like a chocolatey, nutty character in the aroma. I mean, the nutty character might be from the coffee, but I'm really definitely not getting any bourbon, so we'll see what we got. That's crazy to me. So it's really good, but it is not what I would expect from what it's called. The bourbon definitely is more present in the taste than it is in the aroma. It's not like a huge whiskey taste. There's a little bit of oak character, but it's more of just like a general spirit taste. I also think this might be the first like Imperial Stout I've done on this channel, which is cool. Yeah, the bourbon is not really up front, which I didn't really remember it being that big the last time I had it, but I did remember it having a huge coffee character. And I'm not getting a ton of coffee on this. I am still getting a lot of that nutty character that I said I got in the aroma, which I think is mainly from the coffee. But if you told me this was like just a hazelnut Imperial Stout, I would absolutely believe it. Like, the nutty character from the coffee is so much that I would think that there was like hazelnuts or some sort of artificial hazelnut flavor in this. So I mean, this is 11% too, by the way. And that it is not shy about showing that. I will say that much. Not that I have a problem with that. I mean, I personally like to know that I'm drinking a big beer when I'm drinking a big beer. Like not the double IPAs that are 8%. I don't want those to taste like booze, but this kind of thing, yeah, it's fine. As long as it's not the overwhelming flavor, Because to me, it just, not that I can't control myself, but in general, if if I get a good alcohol kick from it, then I'm gonna drink it slower, even if it tastes really good. So it has those what you would think is sticky, sweet flavors, but it in and of itself is actually not that sweet compared to some of the pastry stouts today. There is a little bit of like a dark fruit and hop character to it too, which I'm guessing is from the base style. I will say that this is a little thicker than most of their other Imperial stouts I've had from them. That's the only gripe that I've had with OddSides is they're pretty good about nailing the flavors on things, but they're a little unrefined, but they're still pretty tasty beers, and for the price they're a no brainer for sure because their shit is just half the price of other stuff that's similar. But the only gripe is like the beers are kind of thin. But this is it's still not like a giant chewy beer, but it's definitely not as thin as some of the other ones that I've had. And I mean 11%, it's a big beer. I'm just looking at the top of it. It is a little oily as well. So yeah, the coffee. I mean, I get it, but it's really not the forefront. I think it's unfortunate that the bourbon character is coming across more as like an ethanol character than actual bourbon, like oaky, caramely dark fruit type thing. So it is like a little bit astringent. But again, overall as a beer, I still think it's pretty good. And to me, price plays a big factor in these things, especially like with with IPAs and stuff. They all cost the same. Like they're all, I don't know what, $15 to $20 a 4-pack for pounder cans. Most of them cost the same. Other than this one I'm going to review soon, but most of them cost the same. So I mean, it's hard to really judge them on price. It's just pretty much straight up flavor. But like these Imperial stouts, some of them are all over the place. I mean, some of them are $30 for a bomber. Excuse me. Some of them are $5 for a 12-ounce. Like the prices for them are all over the place, and the quality for them is all over the place. Excuse me. So you really need to take the price into account when you're drinking these, because I mean, if I have one that's $30 but it's mind blowing, then of course I'm still going to say it's worth it. But if I have one that's 15, that's not that great. But I have one that's 7, but it's about as good as the one that's 15, then hell yeah, like this one I would get the props. But a 4-pack of this was like $17.50, so that's, what is that, shit, I can't even do that. That's like between $4.25 and $4.50 a bottle, which, so that's what, like $8.50 for like a $7.50 of this, or $8.50 for a bomber of this. I mean, compared to so many other breweries, like that's a steal. And again, that's why it's just like Bell stuff. I mean, Black Note anymore is not the greatest beer in the world, but it's still pretty cheap. It's like, actually, even compared to this is way cheaper than Black Note, and I think it's probably on the same level. So yeah, that's why I like Lagunitas Willetized and whatever the hell or High Westified and Willetized, changed from High Westified to Willetized because they had to change the barrels because freaking Ballast Point bought all, or they're part of Constellation Brands, I think, which bought out High West or something like that. I don't know, but they couldn't get High West anymore, so they use Willet Barrel. So now it's Willetized instead of High Westified. So, but anyways, that beer is like $2.50 a bottle, and I mean, to say that it's as good as Bourbon County, as Bourbon County coffee, I would disagree. But I wouldn't think you're an idiot for saying it, and it is probably, like 4 times less the price. So when you're factoring those in, it's easier to get. You can get it wherever, as long as it's distributed in your area, they're going to have it. If you're actively looking for it, you'll find it. So You know, those are the things that really drive me in the beer world now. You know, there's no reason to chase those crazy beers when you can find stuff like this that's way less costly and just as good or slightly less. You know, don't hunt the crazy stuff because 9 times out of 10 it's not worth it. It just really isn't worth it. And again, the last time I had this, I think it was like 9%, and I looked. It's like every year it went from like 7, 7.5, 8.5, 9, 9.5. Like every year, it's boom, 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 getting bigger, bigger, bigger. Like now, it's just a giant beer. So actually, this does. Speaking of the Lagunitas, it does remind me of the High Westified I have this year. I had this year. It's not as refined as like the you know, the highest rated ones, but it's still a really tasty beer, and when it's only a quarter of the cost, like, what the hell, why would you not grab it if you see it on the shelf? So, anyways, based on the price, for sure, even if it wasn't on the price, I would still probably say buy it, but unless it was crazy expensive. But especially based on the price, this is an absolute buy. I got, some guy sent me 4 of these for $18 plus a label. So I mean, what the hell? So if you get any deal similar to that, absolutely go for it. It's a really, really good beer. It's huge and it shows it, but it's good. It's good. Nutty coffee, a little bit of roastiness, a little bit of sweetness, little bourbon character. You know, a little astringent, but it's not very much, and it's still really drinkable and good stuff. So, anyways, I had fun doing it. I look forward to doing the next one. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys on the next one.